This is me performing the barbell bent over rows. Let's call it B-bar for this frickin' video. This footage is from 2022, probably from the month February. As you can note that this is not the most optimal form and I did not break my frickin' back performing B-bar, okay? Kashish Gupta's fear-mongering about B-bar made people cringe about the barbell bent over rows and gave it a frickin' L, no cap, okay? Yet millions of gym bros have performed the barbell bent over rows and have developed frickin' massive thick backs, and anecdotes frickin' matter. Practical clinical evidence frickin' matter. And you cannot throw barbell bent over rows straight in the frickin' trash can because some pencil neck guru says that, oh, barbell bent over rows is gonna break your frickin' back. Here's Dr. Eric Helms, Jeff Nippert, and Mike Isertel performing the barbell bent over rows with dope form. Yet, this man, the science-based biomechanics guru, hates barbell bent over rows because he's a phony Montana and his frickin' huge fragile ego is stuck in his frickin' bazoo. So what could have been better with my frickin' form? Maybe control the weight a bit more, maybe lower the goddamn weight and add the component of spinal flexion and spinal extension to actually lengthen and shorten the spinal erectors. To be specific, spinal flexion lengthens the spinal erectors and spinal extension shortens the spinal erectors, and taking the spinal erectors through this range of motion will contribute more to the hypertrophy of your spinal erectors. And it is freaking crucial because the back, it's a big chunk. Spinal erectors is a big chunk running through your freaking back, and having massive spinal erectors adds to the thickness as well as to the overall muscle meat on your freaking back. So in this variation of the barbell rows, you can note that the spinal erectors are getting trained isometrically because the length of the spinal erectors kind of remains unchanged, and this is an exercise, yeah, obviously, which kind of trains your, wait one sec, it trains your, yeah, you're pulling this way, you're pulling somewhere in this plane, this angle of biomechanics science-based terms here, and it recruits more musculature in your freaking upper back, to be specific rhomboids, lower traps, middle traps, and also the teres major, and the most ignored, the thoracic part of your freaking lats, because it runs somewhere in this manner. So barbell bent over rows is good for your upper back, thoracic portion of your lats. And to address the nuances, I think the shoulder flex position, this position, shoulder flexion under a good amount of load, lengthens the entire back pretty well. And if we consider the concept of lengthened partial stretch mediated hypertrophy, this can be great for overall back development and overall muscle hypertrophy, even though I'm not 100% sure about this, okay? It's just my freaking hypothesis. So considering the biomechanics of barbell bent over rows, this is why the science-based gurus, the nerds, hate barbell bent over rows, because in the lengthened position, when your shoulders are flexed, the length of the movement arm is 0, which means the torque is 0, which means this portion of this exercise is a no-no for muscle hypertrophy. And yeah, the concentric phase, you can note that, this is somewhere the line of force, and this is the length of the movement arm, and it loads the muscle pretty well in the shortened position. And oh, shortened position, shortened training is all very bad for muscle hypertrophy. That's what the science-based nerds, the biomechanic guru says. And also people, during the lengthened position, you can note that this is the line of force. And yeah, the hip movement arm, the hips are kind of flexed, and there is a significant load on your hips. There is a significant torque on your hips. And the biomechanics gurus say that this can break your back. This is why, this is why they say so, but that's not how it works. Your body is not that fragile that a little degree of hip flexion and this is 80 kilos, guys. 80 kilos and a 15 kilo bar. It is 95 kilos. Your barbell bent over rowing with this amount of weight, you're not likely gonna break your back. You're not Ed Cohen, you're not Larry Wheels, you're not Ronnie Coleman to break your freaking back. You are a natty lifter who is training in the gym since the past 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. Come on, guys. To address the nuances, just replacing this barbell with the landmine setup is entirely gonna change the resistance profile, the strength curves, and the grip, the neutral grip, the wide grip entirely changes the muscle recruitment. And I shall be discussing about these things in my future videos. So to conclude, and this is a fun fact, okay, I have never injured my back performing barbell bent over rows, but the science-based nerds and the biomechanics gurus who say that barbell bent over rows is gonna break your freaking back, usually when you see their backs, it is freaking small. I hope this message sinks in, and until then, peace out.
देखिए, एक तो बेसिक ट्रिक है, एक तो लाइक और शेयर ठोक दीजिए, महाकाल का दबाकर लाइक और शेयर ठोक लीजिए, 5000 लौटे दिख जाना चाहिए। ये 4000 के लिए मैं यहाँ पे नहीं खड़ा हूँ, पूरा साल मेहनत करता हूँ आपके लिए बेटा। ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा। लाइक ठोकी दबा के, लाइक ठोकिए। यहाँ पे देखिए, ऐसा क्वेश्चन चुटकी बजाते